Okay, so let's talk about press releases. I want to pull you in here, Robert, and get some feedback from you.
Okay.
When you do a press release, you're using Newswire.net. Can you talk about the benefits of Newswire when you're using it? Can you give some examples?
Well, one of the primary benefits is that it is a high PR site, and
Mm,
the minute a press release is published, it shows up on Google News on almost immediately.
yeah,
And done in conjunction with Hangouts, especially, is very effective in getting the Hangout uh, to rank higher. Besides, the Hangouts are also being a powerful thing and ranking almost immediately. But the combination of the two is just a synergistic effect that can't be beat. And along with all the other backlinking strategies that you've been discussing, uh, especially the social sharing, uh, I can take over half a page I've seen with some of my primary keywords.
yeah,
With the social sites, the Newswire press release, the Hangout, uh, it just pushes everybody else out of the way. And almost all my keywords I'm on the first page for uh, in Google, and everyone in YouTube is pretty much page one and top of the page, ranking number
yeah.
one.
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention about when you're saying taking over half the page, no, I did see a conversation somewhere recently. I think it might have been on a forum or in somebody's underneath someone's blog post. Maybe I'm one of the geeks had done a blog post and there was some discussion in the comments or something. When I say the geeks, I'm talking about the people who do these big long sort of what do you call them? White paper kind of report type of blog posts. They're really long and they must take them a week and a half to prepare and stuff like that. I've got this little nickname for them. I call them the geeks. So if I ever mention that in future, I actually know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, I saw this discussion about the relevancy of some of these different pieces of content that might be coming from a press release. It might be coming from a Web 2.0 blog. It might be coming from a wiki link or whatever. The thing is, guys, that if you're taking over page one, it's your content and you're pushing your competitors away. Okay, that is how you structure these first tier and second tier links. That is very, very important because it should always be flowing through to your main piece of content. That should be ranking highest. And the way you've got to make sure that that happens is that you don't over optimize or you don't optimize too much more than what you have done your main piece of content. So I've got a new tool coming out, which I'm just going to give you a very, very brief example of here. And let me know if you can see this particular tool I've got open here. Can you see my screen, or is it still showing the PowerPoint?
We still see the PowerPoint, Tony.
Okay, let me just see if I can switch this over. I haven't got this on sale right now, but it might give you an idea. No, I'm not seeing the option to put that there. I'm just not seeing the option to put that there. Okay, I can't show it right now. We'll have to do that in a different kind of video. But what I've got is a little tool that does first tier link wheels and first tier silos, if you like, using YouTube channels. But what I've said in the tutorial videos that I was doing last night was don't put too big a description in there because you might end up out optimizing your main piece of content. And you don't want that to happen, so basically just put in a link in there to get more information, and you want to put links into the comments as well. And by doing that, you're creating silos as well as link wheels at the same time, and that way your link is flowing through to the content in the correct way, that you're not going to over optimize and end up ranking higher with that piece of content. But the main point was the more of page one that you control, then you're pushing your competitors out the way. Okay, and if you structure it properly, it's going to have information about that main piece of content that you really, really need.
Okay, it seems like we're back on again. Sorry, something happened. A malfunction with Google, I think. Anyway, we're back.
Can you see the screen?
I can see the screen.
Right, okay. So it's saying take me there or end the other call, so I guess I should just click on take me there and see what happens then. Okay. Okay. So we're back. Okay, so we covered the first tier backlinks and we were talking about the press releases. Now, when you're doing these press releases, can you give me an idea, can you give people an idea who might be listening, how much traffic you're sending, how many views these press releases are getting?
Quickly, I sometimes get as many as 5,000 views in a day, which was what happened with last week's press release. Just
wow.
Suddenly 5,000 views, and then it carries on from there. I'll get several hundred views a day, and on some of my older press releases, I've been getting views for several months now, up to several hundred a day.
That's very, very good. Now, what do you do from that point? What mechanisms do you put in place to convert that traffic?
I submit my press releases to OnlyWire and to Social Adder, Google+, Tumblr, Blogger. What is the other one? And I think WordPress.com. And I haven't added any wiki links because I've been a little bit busy with other things with my primary employment, and just haven't had the time. So I need to start adding these second-tier links that you're talking about. And
I was actually meaning when you're getting people out to the content, what sort of conversion things are you putting in there so that you're getting them on to see this content that you're putting out by the press release? What do you have in there for them to take an action? What's your calls to action that you're typically using in that?
I have banner advertisements in the sidebar, and I have one in the middle of the press release above the Hangout. Just an image that, if clicked on, will take them to your Commando HQ or Social Traffic Commando, depending on what it is we're talking about tonight. I also have a link to Commando Tube Tools down at the bottom, and a link to the Hangout when it's picked up by other news sites, which the one last week was picked up by another 200 sites around the world, press release sites. Then our link will be in there for the Hangout. So I imagine that's why we're getting so many views for the Hangouts.
It's a very, very interesting example of how you can drive traffic with. You know, there is an effort to put together a press release. There is an effort to conduct a Hangout, for example, but it can be done with a Hangout. It can be done with just, you know, good content on a blog post with sort of a video giving an overview for what you've written in text, or vice versa. Where you're just doing bullet points for what's on the actual video itself. And the good thing about the press release service that you use is that you're able to do multimedia. That means you can put in images and you can put in video. And these Hangouts, I believe, are actually showing live inside Newswire press release.
As we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. It's incredible. And what are the costs for doing that with Newswire?
I pay $300 a month. And their current offer is 12 press releases for $300 a month.
That's not too bad, actually. It's really, really actually reasonable. If you look at the amount of traffic it's sending, you know, a lot of people listening to this might think to themselves, well, you know, $300 is a big investment. But if you multiply, or if you add up everything that you spent on SEO over a month, you've got to ask yourself the question: does it generate the same traffic is what you've just described there, you know, and what sort of effort is involved in it? And, you know, if you learn how to convert that traffic, then that is, as a strategy in itself, is probably enough that you can make a very, very decent income if you're just, you know, testing, tweaking consistently to be able to get those call to actions correct, so that you can get the maximum from that traffic. Now, I would be very, very tempted to send them, Robert, to a sort of blog page that you create where you can capture leads from there. That's what I would definitely recommend. I would send them to a page that you control outside of the press release, and from there then you can send them to other places as well. So you might have a a download of the PowerPoint that we have for this week's and every week that we do. So there's always a PowerPoint. Maybe send them to get a download of the PowerPoint on a blog page that you control.
That's
and
a wonderful idea. I saw how you did that
yeah.
in the Facebook group with
yeah.
a new site I'm not familiar with. Right.
Yeah, and you can maximize the traffic that basically essentially you're paying for there, because it's such a good way to convert that traffic, because it gives them something useful that is relevant to the content that you're doing, which in this instance is the PowerPoint, because it has all those kind of things. So it's there as a reference guide for people. It costs you nothing because it's already there. It's just a PowerPoint, but it's very, very useful. Sort of study aid for people who want to go back through this. So for $300 a month, I think that is pretty good. Do they have a lower level of membership, or is that the lowest?
There is a lower level where you could get 4 press releases a month for $150.
Okay, so they're losing about 1/3 of. They're losing about 50%, I guess. So you should really get 6 if you divide it by half, as far as you're getting 12 for 300. But you know, it's a good way for people maybe just to test and start, and then they can upgrade at any time. Is that correct?
They can upgrade at any time, and some people, they make quite an income just from doing press releases. I know one lady with Newswire who charges $1,000 a press release. She writes the press release and ranks it for her clients, and she's making a living from that.
Yeah, well, what particularly interests me with the strategies that we've just discussed is the ability to drive traffic from these first-tier links, and that includes press release. So if we combine something like the press release with even just guest posting, which essentially you could take your press release and you could just build it into an article instead of a sort of writing in the third-party kind of thing like you do with press releases, then essentially the same piece of content getting tweaked can drive thousands and thousands of visitors to your content. I think that's just phenomenal, because the amount of leads that you can capture at that point when you got that much traffic from just 2 pieces of content is just unbelievable. You know, I think that more people should be doing this, and I really want to dig into it more myself for both those particular strategies, for both of those particular ways of doing the first tier backlinks. Okay. Do you have an affiliate link for Newswire? Do they allow for affiliates to do that?
No, they haven't. They don't have any affiliates right at this moment. Michael Taggart is the only affiliate I know about.
Oh yeah, Michael did some course, and he's got a Facebook group, I believe. It's all about press releases. If I were you, I would definitely ask them if that's something they would consider to do.